Okay, Dr. Bawumia, ne din aba abɛtɔ political highway no so a nsɛm bi ɛrekɔ so a abusua aha ɛna ɛkyɛ sɛ wobɛte saa latest update no na ɛba transactions bi kɔ so a Dr. Bawumia ne din akɔ akɔpim aha Gossip Politics TV. So unsubscribe subscribe na hit it on the notification bells and any updates be ever dropping on so once ebetumi akabina abusua Dr. Bawumia then na ɛrekɔ so on the side. Some illegal transactions be akɔ Dr. Bawumia the personal man a friend of Alulu, according to Kevin Taylor. Ɔte saa guy no friend of Alulu ɔno ɛna ɛhwɛ Dr. Bawumia ne transactions ne financial way ho asɛm. Na fraud bi akɔ so, illegal transactions bi akɔ so a abusua Dr. Bawumia ne saa Alulu yi ɔmo ɛna Alulu yi na ɛhwɛ saa transaction no ɛma ne kɔɔyɛ. Na fraudulent act bi a Dr. Bawumia yɛ a saa ECG meters yi a amanfoɔ ka ho asɛm ɛrebɔ ho dede 2024 abusua Dr. Bawumia transaction bi a ɔyɛɛ no illegal transactions almost millions of dollars ɛna ɔyɛɛ saa transaction yi a mpanyinfoɔ attract saa ne illegal transaction yi a Kevin Taylor ababɔnten ababɛleki information about abusua. Yes, I'm a corner. Young Conquity and Sama a so unsubscribe. Subscribe and hit on the notification bells and any updates be ever dropping also on sa every to me. I can be a Gossip Politics TV. So, Madam.
And of friend Mahmudu Bawumia, Papa be the chief friend a year Alolo. And catch them say they need to have a deal. Alolo no on the run Bawumia finances in all Bawumia's illegal criminality. Through insurance. Bawumia, baby, onya illegal money pay through insurance. Yeah. There's some guy following Bawumia, friend Alhaji. Get me the name. Alolo, some guy be, ne fubi sa, ni ticket sa noma. Bawumia criminality, the sickening yina. Bawumia ye fraud, transfers. Bawumia oye a lot of illegality through a insurance fraud. Na me say the yere de akwa kan beka Bawumia be nu no ho. Bawumia oye Samira ade na akwa kan beka wono wo be nu ho asase we so. So do MPP on Bawumia akwara me boni Alhaji Ismaila on ye fe na lolo na odi Bawumia echi no. Sa mita we nsam na ye kan de be pia ha no. Ma me ka bibi nkire mo. Sika Mahmudu Bawumia epeja free sa mita di we mu no. And you see some of the things, you see, they did it in a way it becomes so difficult to, at the end of the day, sit down one day and say, Machobia. And that is the danger in investigating political crimes. You see how they orchestrated the stealing, how they forced us to believe that your meters are saying, how they found a way to bring fake meters. So now you sit down and you ask yourself, a government comes to power, it creates an idea that umitana will use na say. In the first place, you cannot prove the mitana no omu changing and say it. You have a track record for that? No. Now they forced to install meters on the people. So technically, they have legitimately gone to purchase cheap meters. Right? Now, they legitimately purchase cheap meters, which they come to sell to us at abnormal prices. Now, they sell it to us at a price that, at the end of the day, you will say, Omobuye. Now, how do you go back and do these investigations? It's not going to take you more than 2 years to conclude these investigations. And it's make Ghana for say, when it comes to political prosecution and accountability, yes, Ghana for a sometimes we need to think, you know what? Nature itself sometimes says, Obi woha adie we yenhye mra semenye. And they say akacho say, do not shit in the living room. Nature yenhye mra wo wiase, yenhye samra no wo fie bia mu. Nature itself and yenhye samra no. Into wunyine no, nobody will sit you down and say, do not shit in your living room. Akrani, you will never tell the kid that never shit in your living room, and no kid will get up one morning and sit in your living room and take a day and shit. So what is going to happen is say, Ghana for no, at a point we need to sit and ask ourselves to say, so when people into manchina, we are not supposed to give this human being an opportunity. The reason why majority of you people hate Gabi, hate Oforiata, hate Kufuado, hate Bawumia and his family is because you have seen governments from 1992 to when Kufuado became president. So when Kufuado crossed or Tamusika, how he governed, how you went through that pain, the economic pain and trauma you went through, no, it gives you a natural sense to understand, say, this guy is not an intelligent person to lead you again. It's a good point to be at. It is not all about investigations and putting people before court. It's about we being rational and intelligent to know, say, Sebio Kwasia and Yetiano Imprensa. I have seen this myself. I lived through the pain of Kufuado. I lived through the mismanagement and lies of Bawumia. I lived through how people abused power. Why should I go back and give power to them? There are some things they are not on paper. There are some things you cannot sit and say, let me investigate for 10 years. There are some things you have to rationally make a decision as a human being and say, where do I mean you? Where do I mean an opportunity? This group of people are dangerous, and that is what you do. That makes you different from an animal. Your instincts and your way of reasoning is powerful than the animal. Into some of the things they did, you cannot get up and say, "Adebia for court." No, but we should also sit as a people and sit and analyze things and say, "No." Way should tell us to say these are not people we can trust, and that is the argument I'm trying to let you understand. Accountability is important. You can only take people to court when you have the evidence and the paper trail and the backings to know that you can win. But sometimes, and it's not Obeka say, "Medema se meko police station, medema se meko court, then kamebo dia." But nipoli ni say Ghana mremuno, asam tuwa obi wiawa also the court arameboa. Ghana mremuno obi wiawa also the police station arameboa. And so be to me catch say, "Winning BB." Why do you think they do that? They do that because they know, say, so many things because of your situation, because of who you are, because of what you represent, you might not get justice. And then the natural instinct. So sometimes we are not supposed to always be, say, where you're a politician, where you say, we have to also sit as humans and reason. Because say, abai betu koko, fertilizer, na say you're free. Na sa aban ba na se for sale boho na otoma koko kwani a sa aban ni aban boni nti MPP ba power na se oton koko a fertilizer o se de check koko farmer no or say sprayer o se de check koko farmer no insecticide o se de check I actually not for sale na se aban no eton mana that aban rationally we nipa you are not supposed to give it any room to come and rule you. So the MPP are criminals. They know what they are doing. Let me tell you. And people they have been doing politics for long. Go for time, omu mistakes, and somebody like Osafumafo, only today's criminal. Somebody like Omu Ekufuado ba power no. They are not today's criminals. Oforiata has been around. Obutan 1999, he duped SNET. So if Oforiata is coming back to steal from you, the mistakes he made in the past that you were able to uncover, he is not going to make those silly mistakes again. So if today you think you can capture Oforiata and jail him and make it easy, he is not a small fish or a hardened, experienced criminal. And you need to understand, say, it do some time, you look at the matters and say, okay, even though we know you have done this, we don't have evidence to it. We as humans, we are not going to give you opportunity. And that is where we have to get at a point in our history. Oba America, and your mom Oba America, America for Chiomo. At a point, America got to that point and said, okay, your actions, things you did, your actions and inactions, you maybe aware in the past, your utterances, your gestures, the kind of people you basically dealt with, how you made us suffer as a citizen, as a nation, we are going to think about ourselves. We will make the right decision. Sometimes they make decisions without even prosecuting people. And I'm not saying we should not prosecute, but sometimes we should be rational and look at people's leadership qualities, the things they do, when they are given power, what and the things we see, what we go through, the trauma we pass through, that alone should be the biggest advice and the biggest decision. I'm here to move forward. These NPP people, they are not today's criminals. See, I started bobo MPP for Akroma for Chewa. Obi to such a man to me. Or started a galamse nyande. Or started a de galamse a sense as senende. And Mahama no a galamse. Ena ya chino. Ena ya jane nyoma nyina. Ena osanya opportunity to come to power. He is going to make sure he does not make those silly mistakes he made before. Until you are dealing with an experienced criminal who has been there before, who knows what to do to cover his tracks. You are dealing with Osaf Mafu. Of course, Salud Kwakoji Dia Ekoji loan. Osaf Mafu was with Kufuor. Osaf Mafu coming with Ekufuor as an advisor. He knows things to do so that you will never catch him. We are talking about somebody like Oforiata, Gabi Otredako. So Ghana for it is some time. It is not all about the paper trail. It is not all about seeing evidence. It's about you being human and being rational and looking at people's actions and inactions, how they lead, how they conduct themselves, and make a conclusion and decision at the end of the day. And that is why I want to tell you that the NPP is a dangerous political party. It is not just about having evidence and holding. It is about consistently the inconsistencies in their actions and how they have been able to destroy us slowly to this point, and then I'm making that statement. Into ayawusu ene oban ene de jajo, and so omusu no oban kwa, you are not even supposed to give them power. So we are not supposed to be sitting here and saying, say, at the end of the day, also biako court, also biako jail. No, we too, we are rational. Yen yet neighborhood, yen say you for. I can tell every single person watching me, say area yet yen Macron say bibi ira yen Macron, but you did not see him pick it. So you cannot go to court and say where we are there, no. But some neighborhood, yenim say obika tua, yenim say asimesin a fire. So what do? What we do is we prevent asimesin from stealing from us. And what do we have to do? Say ebia assemblyman position, but we don't make sure that asimesin gets close to the assemblyman position. Say area ho bibi betowa. So it is us. We need to be smart. We need to also be rational. Some of the things are not on paper. Some things might be on paper looking legitimate, which you cannot prove, but they are illegal. And we need to get to that point. I'll see a shenipa esu and then the subai and then the character and your money to me. Do you understand me? And people calling for accountability, I understand. People calling for people to be sued, I understand. But what about us? See any woman tonight? 8 years, no one tonight Ghana. We saw what they did. We saw the people we lived with in our neighborhood. We saw the kind of things they made us go through. We saw the killings. We saw the abuse of power. So yes, you nyansana. You would chema won't me ye. You would oil samra boy. You would the akunta mine in ye. Sianka say you call court any evidence. Didn't we see it for ourselves? Yanka say ye. So the court to Crampo say they are going to slow us down. And you anticipate, why don't we prevent them from coming in again to destroy us? So court to say they are going to delay us. They are not going to give us the rulings on time. It is going to use diplomacy and paperwork and bureaucracy to stop or slow us down. Now, yes, sir, Jimmy Anna. Yes, sir, Jimmy. Yantian Yabo Nipa too. We know, Obina also go to court. Catch us. MPP is a very dangerous person. Do you need us to go to court? And Obikano, the best punishment for the NPP is to stop them from coming close to power again. Because when you give them power, you resource them to keep doing what they are doing. Whatever money some of them have stolen, the best thing to do is to keep them away from power. It is the biggest punishment. Those we can arrest, those we can prosecute, let's do our best and do it. But we should not base everything on prosecuting everybody. But we as humans, we as Ghanaians, we as electorates, the best we can do is to stop MPP from coming close to power. That is the best punishment. Because you see, when you give Bawumia power, you are giving the killers power. When you give Bawumia power, you are giving Gabi Otredako power. When you give Bawumia power, you are giving Kenofurata power. You are giving the Kufuor power. You might say, oh, say no more to Abanamamo. But they are the ones who are ruling Bawumia. They are the ones who are the backbone of the party. They are the ones who are financing Bawumia. They are the ones who are waiting to jump on the bus. Into the greatest and the biggest punishment to give to the MPP and to free yourself is to stop them from coming to power. That's it. We as a nation, we should be able to try and see who we can prosecute with enough evidence. We do it. But we should not also lose guard and say, because we have not been able to prosecute all the people we think. Because any chrono nyina na paper so. Any chrono nyina na obetuma tracy. Any chrono nyina na obetuma prosecute. Die betumi aye no. There were enough evidence, let us go hard and stop it and prosecute. But there you want to say it is complicated. Rationally, say way when you decide to follow, it is going to take us 15 years. We will waste more resource than doing what? Than following. What we need to do is to stop them from coming close to power. That is the biggest punishment we can give to the MPP. That is the biggest punishment. So we should not base Ghana on their prosecution. I really want people to be prosecuted. I really want thieves to be prosecuted. Even the United States, at a point, they tell themselves, because you have to be prosecuted, Obiano, the people who did bad to us, we will stop them from coming close to power. That is the biggest punishment any electorate can give to a politician. Because the Amanipa Bebre Ebu for Ghana is because Nyoma Mufemu. The trauma, mufemu, the pain, mufemu, you are still seeing those people around. The question is, if you slack and they get power, you are going to go through that trauma again. So if the system, the judicial system, is not grinding as fast as you want, what do? You stop them from getting access to power. And that is what you and we need to do. Let's stop these people from getting close to power. Meaning, never give them power, because you are trying to prevent a dream you don't ever want to have. You are trying to prevent a trauma you don't want to ever experience. You are trying to prevent a broken heart you don't want to ever go close to. So, what will prevent a broken heart? Make sure, say, nipana omoma broken heart, they don't come close. Oh, your ba na bema be do a bro. That's oma broken heart. What you do is you don't sit and say because bema woman broken heart inti bema be a meshia di a man a chance. But what you try to do is because the bema oma broken heart, because he's cunning, because he's a liar, because he's dangerous, because when he gets the opportunity to get into your life again, oba finish show totally and you block him, then you look ahead. Even though you cannot judge every man, you have to be cautious. That is the most important thing. Let us not sit and make it look like, say, oh, judiciary, the biggest punishment you can give to the LPP, stop them from winning power. Obia $100 million, keep them out of power, it will all disappear. Obia $500 million. $500 million, prevent that person from getting power. That is the biggest punishment you can give that person. Because that $500 million, when you give that person another access, Obed Dani will slave. But the ones that we have control over, the ones that we have started working on, the one that we think we can put a pin in them, let us focus and pin those people down. So we should not sit and make it everything look like, prosecution, oral. No. Yes, you nipa. And this NDC and Chobian Tuma, NDC and MPP Niantum, NDC and Chinipa winning so Odia Boniantuma, Ogo to Ababa Thomas Adipano. I'm asking you. Nipa who expect say or say NDC Chili to Mende ya. Say NDC a buying, NDC a party, NDC in your court. Let's say NDC are buying Entuma Chinipa na ubu funo na Antuma. Are you going to go to the ballot and say, Mamenfa to me Masani Panana? It's a question I'm asking you. So if you are not going to hand over power to that person, then prevent that person from hurting you more, from coming in. And then whatever we can go and point to kill, let's go point and kill. Literally. The ability pointed to kill, let's literally point and kill. We cannot sit and be mourning and be making noise and be screaming. Some of the crimes are not traceable. Get that fact. And some of them are happy, strong, walking around because some of the crimes are not traceable. The amount of resources to trace it, it is better you stop those people from even coming close in the first place to power. The biggest punishment you can give any opposition is to stop them from coming to power. And especially the biggest punishment you can give the NPP that wants to use Bawumia to come back, to cause us harm, to destroy us, to destroy the economy, to steal from us, to kill the citizens, to suppress us, is to stop them from coming to power. Cut that blood off. Now, My uncle. This is another.
Okay, abusua we ne ensema ekoso e political highway so Kevin Taylor and I yetene ka se odisa ensem no etudwa e de amaya eye alolo a ohye Dr. Bawumia ne sika ensem eye ne bank financially transactions that Dr. Bawumia nyina no abusua Kevin Taylor aba be drop sa details no amaya bra ma se some je pene kokoti sa ensem we e de mai aha gossip politics TV so unsubscribe here. Subscribe and hit on the notification bells and any updates be a dropping on so once a bit to me academy.